It'll go
A
too far.
new study suggests that Gen Z are now facing a blindness epidemic.
What?
It reveals that nearsightedness has increased a massive 59% in Gen Z. And the United Nations say that by 2030, it's going to affect 40% of the world's population. A top eye surgeon said that the leading cause is that youth are now spending too much time with their electronics too close to their face during a critical time in their life when they should be getting natural sunlight. I'm going to have to say it. Blind generation.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, what we do is, man, we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, man. Subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button. You're pushing us in the algorithm. We're growing so we can try to find new seekers. Greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
Disturbing facts you didn't want to hear, part 2.
Okay.
Many doctors say that the most common last words they hear are, "I don't feel so good." Most laugh tracks you hear in TV shows were recorded in the 1950s, meaning that the people you hear laughing are probably dead. During the French Revolution, it was said that the guillotine had to be used multiple times to get the job done. The reason that planes shut off their lights right before they land is so that passengers' eyes can adjust to the dark just in case there's a crash. This is so if the power goes out during the crash landing, they can better find an escape route.
Crazy facts, man. You never knew.
These are shocking and bone-chilling facts you won't believe. Part 1. Up first, this is why you should always put your toilet seat down. When flushed, toilets expel small particles of water, urine, and feces, and, at times, dangerous pathogens that are invisible to the naked eye. Next up, in a study done by the University of Leicester, it was predicted that it would only take 100 days for zombies to take over the planet if a zombie outbreak ever happened. And what's even crazier, the university also predicted that after 100 days, only 300 humans would remain alive and uninfected.
What?
So what do you think? Are you going to be one of the 300 people left alive? Or are you just going to be a zombie after 100 days? Next up, this is Titanic survivor Catherine Gilnet, who was only 16 years old when the Titanic sank. But as the Titanic was sinking, she didn't realize the seriousness of the ship's situation until she reached New York.
What?
She thought that leaving in lifeboats and being picked up on another ship was all part of the journey. This is actually crazy, especially when everybody around you is screaming and drowning. So I have no idea how she didn't realize it was a real situation. And not only that, one of the most horrific events in human history.
This is how rare your body is compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of the population have what is known as Morton's toe, making you extremely rare if you have this. This is where your second toe is longer than your big toe. What's even more rare is only 5% of people's tongues are tied. This is literally where your tongue is tied to the bottom of your mouth, impacting eating and speech. Only 1% of people have unbreakable bones. And if you have this, you are literally considered a superhuman. It's a mutation that makes your bones several times denser than the average human, which means someone with this mutation could walk away from a fucking car crash completely fine. Only 10% of the population suffer from eczema. Most get it when they're a child. It's bullshit! Whereas others can get it further down the line. 50% of the population can fit their fists in their mouth. That's still pretty rare. If anyone can actually do this, please let me know. Can you tickle yourself? If so, then congratulations, you're a part of the rare 7% of the population who can actually do this. And finally, only 16% of people can make a roaring noise in their head, flexing a muscle in their jaw. Damn. Elon!
What the hell? Wrong in your head. Seekers, can y'all guys do that? I'm freaking putting the whole fist in your mouth, like you said. Y'all guys can do that, any of those? Tell me that below, baby. Your community, man. I want to hear y'all stories, man, if y'all can. That's actually crazy. Things about our bodies, man. We never knew.
This is the 18-year-old hacker who managed to use nothing but an Amazon Fire Stick, a hotel TV, and a phone to leak clips from the new Grand Theft Auto. Amelia Earhart from Oxford is part of Lapsus, a notorious international cybercrime gang thought to be made up of mostly teenagers. That hacked into big companies like Uber, costing them millions. When Arian, who has autism, hacked into Rockstar Games and Services, he was already on bail for hacking into other major companies and living under police protection in a travel lodge. But despite having his laptop confiscated, he still managed to hack into one of the biggest games companies in the world with just an Amazon Fire Stick, a TV, and a phone. He stole 90 clips and messaged Rockstar's internal messaging system, telling them they had 24 hours to get in touch with him before he'd release the game's sort code, which he did with the clips, and he was rearrested. His defense argued that the GTA trailer was still a success and that his hack hadn't caused serious harm, but the judge said that Lapsus had caused real harm to real victims from his other hacks, and that Arian's skills and desire to commit cybercrime meant he was still a high risk to the public, and has now sentenced Arian to live in a secure hospital for life, and he can only come out of hospital if doctors say he's no longer a danger.
Disturbing fact.
That's actually kind of crazy if you think about it. His skills is that advanced that he used a fire stick and a TV. He didn't even have access to a laptop. They had to confine him, bro. That's how, like, skillful he was hacking. I've never heard of something like that before. That's actually insane. All because he hacked GTA.
The average person walks past 36 murders in their lifetime. During World War II, Japan bombed China with fleas infected with the bubonic plague.
What?
Heartbreak can trigger a massive flood of emotions that can cause fatal heart attacks. People's general happiness peaks at 21 and does not reach that level again until they retire. People who stay up late at night have more psychopathic tendencies than those who sleep early.
Really? I go to sleep at night, and I'm not a psychopath. The more you know.
Here's what would happen if you stopped sleeping.
Alright.
In the first 24 hours, you would actually feel great. This is because sleeplessness stimulates the mesolimbic pathway in your brain, causing you to feel happy and full of energy. But soon after reaching the 24-hour mark, your reactions will become slow, your brain will begin to be forgetful, and you will appear drunk to others. After 2 days of not sleeping, your body would begin to shut down. It would not metabolize glucose properly, leaving you with little energy. After 3 days, your eyes would go red, you would look pale, and you would begin to hallucinate, with all your worst nightmares seemingly coming to life. Then after 2 weeks, your immune system would become so weak that you could even die from the common flu. And after 3 weeks, you'd probably die from a heart attack. Comment what's the longest time you've gone without sleep.
I think the most I've gone is like a day. That's the most
So
I can
on
last.
Mother's Day, here's the one animal that doesn't get to have one. And I mean that in the worst way. This is a sea louse. That's right, just like the ones that violate fish. It all starts with a male snatching up a lady louse and dragging her into his coitus cave. That's what I'm calling it. If I say what it really is, this video won't see the light of day. And inside there could be up to 25 other prisoners just like her. Hopeless and I mean parasites. That's bad enough, but like the world of Ray Charles, it only gets darker. You see, lice don't multiply the same way we do. They have something called traumatic insemination. Sure is, 'cause it involves the female getting her abdomen stabbed through by the male. Basically a love shank. And after every last captive has been injected, that's when the nightmare really starts. Because now each pregnant louse has hundreds of tiny lice wriggling around her insides. The difference is, when us mothers give birth, with them children take life. The many little lice start feeding on the mother from the inside until eventually her body splits open and a brood of Norman Bateses crawl out of her withered husk of a corpse, spilling out into the sea to continue this really messed up cycle. And if you ever watch Slither, yeah, same thing. Matter of fact, this has the Bay written all over it. And we have time, so some lice will crawl through a fish's gills, sever the blood vessels in the tongue, wait for it to wither and fall off, and then they become the tongue. Billions of dollars a year for NASA just for the real ET-ish to be right here. The more you know.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory. Part 9. In 2015, married couple David and Louise Turpin traveled to Las Vegas to renew their wedding vows with an Elvis impersonator. The couple appears to be cheerful, having a very happy family with many children. But 3 years after this video was taken, one of the daughters managed to escape the home and go to the authorities. As it turns out, all 13 children had been locked up in the house, abused, and malnourished. In one of his final live streams, popular Twitch streamer Byron Bernstein, better known by his Twitch name Wreckful, joked about suicide and even mentioned testing out to see if he could survive a fall from his balcony. A month after the stream aired, Byron took his own life by jumping from that very same balcony. In 2014, adventure YouTuber Snakebit McGee uploaded a video entitled MK Pike.
I'm looking for a cave that I found. Something about that cave just spooked me. This one just made my body vibrate.
He has since gone missing and to this day has never been found.
Well, what he found in that cave? We've seen those clips before, man.
The absolute worst ways people have died, part 7. Octavia Hatcher. In 1889, she was married to James Hatcher, and a couple of years later they had a son together who died shortly after birth. Then she developed depression.
She soon fell ill, slipped into a coma and died. But suddenly other people in town were falling ill and going into comas. James wanted to know if his wife died from this illness or depression, so he dug up her grave. Inside he found part of the casket destroyed and had nails on the ground with blood. She had an expression of pure fear. Octavia Hatcher was buried alive.
What in the world? How the hell did that happen? We're gonna need more to that story, man. We're gonna have to deep dive into that one. So it's just a fake, and whoever did it, man, they just try to bury her alive. Seems like you found her just in time. Man, this world is crazy. He has some crazy stories.
This photo shows 14-year-old Ava Wood and her father Christopher, who would later murder his daughter with a 20-gauge shotgun before turning the weapon on himself.
What the?
Ava was a 9th grade student from Baldwinsville, New York, who was a member of the honor roll and MVP of the girls' soccer team. But on January 20th of this year, Ava's mother called the police asking if they could check up on her daughter because Ava hadn't shown up for school that morning. She explains that Ava was home with her father, who was severely depressed, and that the night before they had spoken on the phone together when he said, "This is how it ends for us." Ava's mother then gives the police officers a key to get into the house, but when they step inside, what they see is devastating. Ava and her father are in 2 separate bedrooms. Both of them have gunshot wounds, and the dad's are self-inflicted. This case is absolutely heartbreaking, and we may never know why Ava's father chose to do this to that poor girl on her birthday.
I don't know. Birthday, man. When you're saying this is how it ends being so cryptic, that's a dark story, man. That's an edit.
This teenager accidentally admitted to killing people to the police while he was playing a video game. A gamer
He was raging.
Elijah was having a normal day while he was playing on Rainbow Six Siege. The game is described as an online tactical shooter video game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Elijah, he accidentally pocket dialed 911 while talking on his headset. As he told his friends, "I just killed 2 people," the operator mistakenly thought he was admitting to a double homicide. He carried on playing, having no idea that the authorities were listening in. Within minutes, officers swarmed his house. Elijah had heard the dog barking, so he went outside to see what the noise was. He was met with an officer pointing a gun at him and was obviously completely shocked. He immediately started to try and explain, stating, "I was playing the game and I butt dialed the phone, that was my bad." Reluctantly, Elijah had to call his mum, who had no idea what was going on, and she was at work. He had to explain to her why there was loads of police outside the house questioning him.
This is why you should never dye your hair. Tabitha was a 17-year-old girl that would continuously dye her hair all the time. One night, she was hanging out with her best friend who decided they would dye their hair together. Approximately 20 minutes after she put the dye in her hair, she got up and went to the bathroom. She began pulling at her hair, screaming and vomiting before collapsing in agony on her friend's floor. Medics rushed her to the hospital where she unfortunately died due to an allergic reaction from the hair dye.
That's crazy, man. From hair dye? She died it so many times. Like her body, I guess, didn't adjust to the new one that she had just put on. That's what happened. I've seen people dye their hair a couple of times, maybe once or twice, but I guess hearing her, she kept doing it multiple times. And her body just wasn't used to it anymore.
2 high school students are dead
that.
after their friends dared them to jump off a bridge. Ryan Al Nasser and Zachariah Char leapt into a South Carolina lake after friends in their group chat challenged them to do so, but both tragically drowned as a result. According to police, it appeared one of the boys jumped first, then the other jumped in to rescue him when he saw he was in distress. It took officials 2 days to locate the bodies.
Those truth or dare games, man, they can turn deadly. It's never wrong with backing out if it's too much for you. It'll go too far.
A new study suggests that Gen Z are now facing a blindness epidemic.
What?
It reveals that nearsightedness has increased a massive 59% in Gen Z. And the United Nations say that by 2030, it's going to affect 40% of the world's population. A top eye surgeon said that the leading cause is that youth are now spending too much time with their electronics too close to their face during a critical time in their life when they should be getting natural sunlight. I'm going to have to say it. Blind generation before...
So-called British
That's crazy.
eco-activist has poured a bucket of human excrement over a war memorial dedicated to a World War II veteran who raised over $33 million for charity. The stunt, led by 21-year-old Maddie Budd, carried out for the pressure group End UK Private Jets, showed her dousing the steel war memorial in human urine and feces. The monument honours World War II veteran Captain Sir Tom Moore, who sadly passed away at the age of 100 last year. He raised over £33 million during the COVID lockdown by walking 100 laps of his garden for charity. Hailed as a national hero and honoured with a knighthood by Her late Majesty the Queen, his memorial was disgustingly and appallingly defaced under the pretence of activism. Medical school dropout has since been arrested and charged with suspected criminal damage. Budd tried to justify her actions by saying that every time a private jet takes off, it pours and blood onto everything that Sir Captain Moore stood for. I'm not sure we completely agree with that. Her father, Jim Budd, said she had gone rogue after she dropped out of medical school, becoming a full-time eco-warrior, also adding he felt sick and was ashamed of his daughter and her actions. Many have flocked to Twitter to express their disgust over the protest, saying that Budd has thrown a lot more away than just the contents of that bucket. What do you guys think? Activism can be really progressive, but when it involves vandalising a war memorial, that crosses a firm line.
What do you guys think?
If I was at the zoo and an animal escaped, I would feel infinitely safer if that animal was a tiger, a bear, or a gorilla. Gorilla, my bad, no ER, don't send me to one. Than if it was a bunch of baboons. Baboons are underrated and not in a positive way. This Malice Monkey's proof that animals are as vegetarian as their options, and baboons will pack up literally anything that doesn't inspire them first. I knew baboons were one of the ones when I found out they'll rush a gazelle that's just given birth just to eat the baby alive the same way you might eat a chicken wing. Sometimes they'll get bold and break into farms to murk sheep and goats. Matter of fact, baboons are a known predator of vervet monkeys, because Malice monkeys don't discriminate, anyone can get it. I literally couldn't even show you the picture if I wanted to. You know they're on time when you find out. Sometimes they'll run into chimps and bully them. Turn a chimp to a pansy. Hope you had a plan B. See, you thought was sweet. No candy. They live in groups called troops. You run a fade with one, you get smoked by the whole hood. That's a leopard with a life lesson. They'll even give the lap track of the savannah something to cry about. Now, but by far the most nefarious thing they do. So basically, a lot of animals like impala and antelope will use baboons as alarm calls against predators. So if they hear a baboon broadcast, they know to do the dash. Baboons figure this out and we're like, the only safe line is a fed line, and fed is exactly how they operate. They will watch lions plot on prey, and not only will they not warn them with the alarm, they'll even get on the ground and stroll around and give the gazelle or whoever a false sense of security. So the antelope gets murked, the lions get fed, and the backdoor baboon gets diplomatic immunity. Yeah, baboons are one of them. Oh, and they carjack people.
Man hasn't pooped in 19 years, but when he finally did, you won't believe what unfolded. 16-year-old Paul was a lively kid, but always faced ridicule at school because he had never pooped in his life. His classmates dubbed him a weirdo. Paul's parents believed he was a blessing from God, a cut above the rest, but he didn't share that sentiment. Paul didn't want to be treated differently. Once he sneaked into the restroom to try and poop. He exerted all his strength, but nothing came out. Eventually, he passed out from straining too hard. Paul grew more and more self-conscious, but at the age of 22, something bizarre happened all of a sudden. Paul's belly began to swell, and it was expanding at a visibly rapid pace every day. His abdomen also started to ache. At this point, he knew he had to see a doctor. The doctor had never seen such a case and immediately arranged various tests for Paul. During the wait, Paul already felt intense agony. The doctor first gave him painkillers, which alleviated it a bit. An hour later, the test results were not promising. Soon after, Paul was rushed into the emergency surgery room. You won't believe what they extracted from his body.
Damn, they didn't finish. Secret, man, I'm gonna find that part for you. That's a crazy ass story. Is he just like backed up or something?
Man cut off men's genitals on a live stream and sold their body parts. Marius Gustavon is a 46-year-old man from Norway. He decided to set up his own company in 2017, providing probably the most shocking and gruesome service I've ever heard. The business gave customers the opportunity to voluntarily have their male reproductive organs cut off. Between 2017 and 2021, the company gained over 22,000 subscribers.
What the f?
Marius ended up making over $300,000. On one particular shocking live stream, Marius got 3 men to cut off his own reproductive organs with a knife. Other live streams involved things such as a male being electrocuted, strapped to a bed, and being branded with initials. Another involved Marius cooking some male genitals and then eating them on camera. Some of the males involved were as young as 16.
What the?
Marius recently pleaded guilty to crimes including conspiracy to commit GBH, creating and distributing indecent images of a child, and possessing extreme P. He's also been sentenced regarding genital mutilation and selling body parts. He's been given a minimum of 22 years in prison. Another male involved in the business was 67-year-old Peter Waits. He was found to have a box of male genitals when police searched his house.
What the
He's been given between 4 and 12 years in prison.
Scarlett Johansson
he actually made money off that.
Angered and in disbelief over ChatGPT's new voice Sky that allegedly sounds just like her.
Hello, I'm here.
So if an AI chatbot sounded eerily like you, could you do anything about it? Let's go back 9 months, when Scarlett says she was approached by OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman. In a statement, she claims that Sam wanted to use her voice to make people feel comfortable with AI, but she declined. Fast forward to now, and she's discovered Sky, whose voice is so similar that her closest friends couldn't even tell the difference. Scarlett even alleges that it was intentional, because Sam tweeted the single word her, possibly referencing the movie where she voiced an AI assistant. Now, OpenAI has suspended Sky, and it's denied that the company intentionally copied Scarlett, but it's opening up a conversation online about individual rights, deepfakes, and ownership of our own identities. Very much like when Taylor Swift found herself targeted by AI photo-generated controversy. But Scarlett now wants legislation to protect ourselves.
I gotta agree with her on that. I mean, people just think they could just take your image and likeness and just use it for any and everything. It's like, the thing is, she declined it, and he still went ahead and used it anyway, man. So there has to be some sort of, I guess, actions, right, for him, because she said no, and he still did it anyway. But since he's the company of the CEO of freaking OpenAI, nothing ain't gonna happen. That's insane, man. That's why we gotta be careful using these AI programs, because once we upload ourselves to that system, it's over. They have our image and likeness, and they can do whatever they want with it. The hell is that?
Unless you want your own Twitter hashtag, never do what he did. Trust me, you're gonna want to favorite this video so you never end up in this situation. You, my friend, have just caught death itself. The giant hornet. This hornet will come after you in the morning, and by the evening it will own your house, your family, and even your mortgage.
What?
Why am I so concerned by this person's well-being? Well, let's start with the fact that these have photographic memories, and you have caught it in a plastic see-through cup. You have the desire to meet your ancestors. Now, a sting from one of these is about as nasty as it looks, described as hot metal being poured into your body. And not only that, they can spray venom too. They don't just have to sting you. I'm sure everyone thinks, no, this isn't a wasp that had a couple protein shakes. Want to know what these hornets do for fun? They raid beehives, and they completely Thanos everything inside of that nest. They can fly up to 25 miles per hour. He can only run 27. To pray for him in the comments. Yoey!
Those murder hornets, man. They do come after you, man. Even regular hornets too. If you take out one of them, it's like a whole swarm of them will just come after you, man. So you gotta be careful when you fighting some hornets. I see that happen, man. I've heard stories about that as well, actually. So be careful, man, when you fighting those hornets. Crazy facts, man. Crazy clips we learned today. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Hit that post notification bell so we can get pushed into this algorithm. We can find more seekers, man. We can just take off and grow. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoying these daily videos I'm uploading for you guys. I'm enjoying the process, man. Like I said, we're still going to get better with each and every video. Tell me what I can do better, man. Like I said, I'm always open to criticisms. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, seekers? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebooks, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man. Y'all helping us grow the community. I really appreciate that. Let's do what we do best, seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
Crazy Ways People Have Died, Part 1.
Here we go.
In 2010, a man named Sam Ballard was dared by his drunk friends to eat a slug. And so he did. Little did he know the slug gave him a parasite, which made him paralyzed and sick. He stayed this way for 8 years till 2018, when he was 28. The sickness became too much for him, and he died. Stop just putting stuff in your mouths! Stop!
Yeah, I ain't doing that there, bro.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Zhao Bao who was lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation.
What the
If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000. But to this day, no one has ever made it through. The little girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, who then committed suicide. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
Oh my goodness. Oh, a damn game. Really?
This is probably the worst secret code name for an undercover operation that I've ever heard. John Arbogast was a 55-year-old school teacher from Georgia. He was teaching students social studies at a middle school in Cobb County, but had a hideous secret obsession with indecent images of children. He had a baseball card shop, and obviously due to this and his day job, he worryingly had huge access to children on a daily basis. He was found to be online constantly trafficking child SA images and was involved in a huge P-ring. Now this caught the attention of the FBI, who created an undercover operation called Innocent Images. The operation spanned 2 years and started in 1993 after a 10-year-old boy vanished. This boy was George Bodinsky, and the undercover operation led to the arrest of 12 men across the world. But frustratingly, George's case remains unsolved.
What the
In September 1995, before he could be arrested, John closed his shop and went on the run. His case then appeared on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries in 1996. He was last seen in Las Vegas, Nevada, but luckily due to the broadcast, police received a tip. They were told he was working at a hotel in LA, and police were able to hunt him down and arrest him. They captured him on the 11th of July 1997. He was frustratingly released from prison just 1 year later.
How?
This pastor is being accused of unaliving his own wife. This case is currently ongoing, but it's been so highly suggested, so this is what we know so far. On April 28th, Pastor John Paul Miller made the shocking announcement at the end of his church service that his wife, Micah, had unalived herself. He then asked everyone to leave quietly and not discuss his wife's death. Micah's family and friends do not believe this cause of death and have taken to social media with the hashtag Justice for Micah. John Paul also wrote Micah's obituary, where he talked mostly about himself, not even Micah, who was the one that passed away.
Weird.
He also painted their marriage as like a perfect relationship, which is really odd considering that Micah filed for divorce and a restraining order against her husband only days before her passing. The weeks prior to Micah's passing, she was sharing on Facebook about abusive relationships and really just hinting that something wasn't right. A friend of Micah's has come out and confirmed that Micah told her that there was abuse in the marriage, and also that church funds were being used for things not church related. And since more friends and family of Micah have come out with similar accounts. Also been some speculation that John Paul was having an affair, a years-long affair, with this woman that he's been seen in the days before and the days after Micah's death. That woman's husband also passed away in a really suspicious way, but that's just online speculation for right now. The investigation is currently ongoing, so hopefully we have answers really, really soon. But in the meantime, make sure to leave all your thoughts, theories, questions, and case suggestions in the comments for me. This 24-year-old.
She was saying about that case, man, the thoughts and theories. What do you guys think? Like I said, it was too sad. That's why I said you can't believe everything in the media or what somebody portrays to be true. Because I don't know, Surface level, it looks like they had the perfect relationship, but behind the scenes, the wife, she had a completely different story. So you can't just take everything at first glance. You really got to dive deep into things like that. Crazy case.
Teacher was caught being inappropriate with her 5th grade student. This is 24-year-old Madison Bergman from Wisconsin. The 11-year-old boy's mother had heard him on a phone call with his 24-year-old teacher and took his phone away. She discovered text messages between the two, and Madison would text him stuff like, "I really wanted to make out with you today." These texts were then printed out and taken to the school. Authorities were notified and they immediately opened up an investigation.
Yes, they should.
The cops searched Madison's backpack and they had found a folder with the 11-year-old boy's name on it. Inside of that folder, they had found several handwritten letters. Written on these notes, Madison is telling the boy that she loves him, she wants to kiss him, he turns her on, and she is obsessed with him. The 11-year-old boy ends up talking to police, and he states that Madison would move his desk next to hers so that she could touch him without other students noticing. It was pretty often that Madison would make the boy stay behind during lunch, and a lot of the students thought he was always in trouble, but that was not the case. 11-year-old claimed that Madison had kissed him several times in that classroom, either after school or when everyone was at lunch. The 11-year-old's family had actually become friends with Madison, and they even went on a ski trip to a nearby resort. And that specific weekend is when Madison got the 11-year-old boy's number. Get this, Madison was actually engaged, but she will no longer be walking down that aisle. Madison has disabled her social media and is not allowed on school property or school events.
Good.
Madison is currently free on a $25,000 bond.
Gotta watch who you become friends with, man. She had an agenda. She just became friends so she could have access.
Here's some facts that are oddly comforting and make me feel less bad about the world. It is statistically proven that people see you 20% more attractive than you see yourself. Your pet probably dreams about you. Like, all the time. Partially because you're like the only person they have ever interacted with. Squirrels accidentally plant thousands of trees every single year just by forgetting where they put their nuts. A group of pugs is called a grumble. That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. In Switzerland, it's considered animal abuse to only own one guinea pig. You have to own 2. Guinea pigs get severely depressed when they're by themselves, so they need partners to be with. If you ever have a cat and they bring home a dead animal, it's because they think you suck at hunting. They want to make sure you're okay in eating, and they don't see you hunting. So they're like, where is this guy getting any nutrition? The ozone layer, the thing that we've obliterated over the past century, it's slowly healing itself. We're not doing anything. It's fixing itself.
The funniest true facts about short people.
I never even knew that, because we've been hearing a lot about, the ozone layer, stuff like that, but to hear that it's actually healing itself, we probably going to have to dive deep into that one, see, because that's an interesting fact. You guys believe that?
Quickly, tag one of your shorter friends so they can see this video too. Now technically, being called short means you're between 5'3" and 5'7" inches tall. Now at this height, you can sometimes actually pass as a child, therefore getting cheaper prices. And you even get to ignore the caution low ceiling signs, which saves a lot of headache. You sometimes even get to use tall people as human shields to protect from objects and even nature. And short people can probably fit over a month's worth of washing in one single load. Now the good news is, you will typically live longer according to research and studies. And being short actually means you have a reduced risk of getting cancer. And believe it or not, it's scientifically proven that information travels to your brain faster.
Really? To the short kings out there, congratulations.
10 facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help, but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. The spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair ever stands up up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch, because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wires so the cops will pull them over. Then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
You need those facts. Write them down.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
Oh, man. That is disgusting. Never do that. Never. Tap in with us, man. Y'all gonna learn some things.
Interesting facts you never knew. The last one is shocking. When penguins can't find love, they waddle off to die alone. The movie theaters actually has cameras inside every theater. So just know, if you were getting freaky, Bob in your local theater probably saw you. You're nasty. Your true love is the first person you see when you click share, slide all the way down, and click more. You wake up before you die in your dreams because your mind can't comprehend death. Want to know what your day is going to be like tomorrow? Type tomorrow in the comment section and let your autocorrect finish the sentence for you. Tastes like your mama's booty. People actually see you 20% more attractive than you think you are. A cafe in Japan hires paralyzed people to control robot servers. This is so that they can still have income and make a living. Before we get to the last fact, can you support me by clicking the follow button for more interesting facts every day? Arnold Schwarzenegger said in many interviews that O.J. Simpson was always supposed to play the Terminator. The main reason he stopped being cast was because James Cameron didn't think he was believable as a killer.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 20. Before she married Ronald, Nancy Reagan was known around Hollywood for her oral abilities, therefore making her a certified throat goat. Queen Victoria really loved doing the deed with her husband, Prince Albert. Like, really loved doing it. To the point where it was audible through doors and walls several times daily. After the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they went frat boy mode and racked up a pretty impressive bar tab. A bottle of whiskey, 2 bottles of wine, and 7 to 10 beers per Founding Father. George Washington in particular was known as the 3-bottle man, meaning he could drink 3 entire fifths of whiskey without blacking out. The guy who invented sea monkeys was a white supremacist, so if you ever bought this bullshit, you indirectly contributed to the Klan.
This is how rare your
Who got some sea monkeys when they were younger, man? The more you know. And man, exposing us to new facts every day. Never in a million years would have guessed that.
Oddities compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of the population have what is known as Morton's toe, making you extremely rare if you have this. This is where your second toe is longer than your big toe. What's even more rare is only 5% of people's tongues are tied. This is literally where your tongue is tied to the bottom of your mouth, impacting eating and speech. Only 1% of people have unbreakable bones. And if you have this, you are literally considered a superhuman. It's a mutation that makes your bones several times denser than the average human. Which means someone with this mutation could walk away from a fucking car crash completely fine. Only 10% of the population suffer from eczema. Most get it when they're a child. It's bullshit! Whereas others can get it further down the line. 50% of the population can fit their fists in their mouth. That's still pretty rare. If anyone can actually do this, please let me know. Can you tickle yourself? If so, then congratulations, you're a part of the rare 7% of the population who can actually do this. And finally, only 16% of people can make a roaring noise in their head, flexing a muscle in their jaw. Damn. Elon!
I'm gonna need y'all to tell me down below, man, can y'all do any of those things that he just described? It's like your body can do more things than I ever would have even imagined. It's kind of crazy how like complex your body is, and the different things it can do, and how it can differ from different people. Insane.
possible to hum while holding your nose. If you want to know how your breath smells, lick your wrist and smell it. The word hello was actually invented because nobody knew how to start a telephone conversation. If you Google the phrase, do a barrel roll, the page will do a clockwise spin. Go do it, come back and let me know if it worked. Your eyes actually sees objects upside down. It is your brain that flips it back up. Your foot is exactly as long as the distance between your wrist and the crook of your elbow. Your phone knows your best friend. It is the second person that appears when you click share, and then more. There are 7 to 10 people on Earth who look identical to you. Want more?
I think it has to be the second fact. Licking
Facts,
your
it
wrist
could
and
save
smelling
your
it.
life one day. If you're ever somewhere really high, like a mountain, and feel your hair standing up randomly, don't take any pictures and run as fast as you can to cover. You're about to get hit by a lightning strike. Just like these 2 teens that got hit moments after this picture was taken. If a stranger gets in your car with a weapon and asks you to drive them somewhere, most likely you will have your seatbelt on, but they won't. So drive fast enough into something like a lamppost. Not only will the accident cause a crowd, but it will also injure the stranger, giving you enough time to run away. And don't worry about your damaged car, your insurance will take care of it. And if you're at the beach and you suddenly see the ocean recede, don't think twice and get to high ground. You're most likely gonna get hit by a tsunami. Better safe than sorry. And finally, if you ever see a bouncing ball on the road while driving, slow down safely and look around, because the ball is usually followed by a small child trying to get it back.
Okay, those facts. Another one, we gotta write those down. Always trying to learn some knowledge from these videos and trying to incorporate it in our everyday life.
That each other exist.
What, don't know they exist?
Sharks have no fucking clue that camels exist. And
oh boy, do I have a story for you. So like fun fact, actually mildly disturbing fact. Camels are one of those animals that have no business swimming but do it anyway, and they're unnecessarily good at it. And an animal whose home addresses the desert being able to pull up on you in the ocean is one of the biggest you I do what I want moves from nature.
It really
There's a
is.
type of dromedary camel called karai that are so comfortable with water that they'll cross rivers and even shallow stretches of the ocean as they look for food. And that's because these overgrown water donkeys love eating mangroves on islands offshore, so much that they'll travel for hours to get it. There's actually a pretty good chance that at least one shark has seen one of these sand-loving hump jockeys out in the ocean. He told his friends. They did not believe it. Moral of this video. If you're ever on a boat off the coast of a country like Algeria, you better be prepared to say what's up to a camel.
This is why you should never spend the night on Niku Maroro Island. In 1937, while on her flight around the world, Amelia Earhart mysteriously vanished over Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean. Despite an enormous search, she was never found. 3 years after her disappearance, a scientist discovered an incomplete skeleton on this tiny, uninhabited island called Niku Maroro Island that wasn't too far from Howland Island. It looked like whoever's bones these were, they had been ripped limb from limb. But when the bones were examined, they determined they were not Amelia Earhart's. But in 2017, a forensic anthropologist re-examined the bones and determined they were almost definitely Amelia's. So scientists went to Niku Maroro Island and they found freckle cream, something Amelia was famous for using. So the working theory is she crash-landed on Niku Maroro Island and she fell asleep somewhere on the beach. Then, after smelling her blood, hundreds of 3-foot-wide coconut crabs came out of the burrows, swarmed her, and ate her.
Damn. Coconut crabs ate a human being? What the hell? You see how they had to re-examine the bones, because like I said, it's in the details. If it's something messes up the first time, just looking at it again. They confirmed it, man. That's really weird. Coconut crabs? Damn, I didn't even know they was capable of doing something like that. The more you know. The hell is
Unless
that?
you want your own Twitter hashtag, never do what he did. But trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video so you never end up in this situation. You, my friend, have just caught death itself. The giant hornet. This hornet will come after you in the morning, and by the evening it will own your house, your family, and even your mortgage. Why am I so concerned by this person's well-being? Well, let's start with the fact that these have photographic memories. And you caught it in a plastic see-through cup. You have the desire to meet your ancestors. Now, a sting from one of these is about as nasty as it looks. Described as hot metal being poured into your body. And not only that, they can spray venom too. They don't just have to sting you. And before anyone thinks, no, this isn't a wasp without a couple protein shakes. I know what these hornets do for fun. They raid beehives. And they completely Thanos every everything inside of that nest.
Damn.
He can fly up to 25 miles per hour. He can only run 27. To pray for him in the comments. Yoey!
Those are some different type of hornets, man.
This is why you should never stay in sketchy motels. In 2005, a young woman on a solo road trip across the country decided to stop for the night. The first place she sees is the Mountaintop Motel. It looked pretty cheap, but she was tired, so she said good enough. The check-in guy eyed her up and down very uncomfortably and then asked her if she was traveling alone. She ignores the question, pays for her room, and then walks away with the key. When she gets inside her room and sees there are literally cockroaches in her bed, she says nope and decides to sleep in her car in the parking lot. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up to see the check-in guy using his own keys to get into the motel room she was supposed to be in. A few minutes later, he storms out and slams the door and starts walking towards her car. Terrified, she hides under her blanket as the man tries to open her car doors but can't and walks away. She speeds off and calls her friend and asks her to look up the address of Mountaintop Motel so she can give it to police. Her friend's quiet for a second and then just says, "The Mountaintop Motel closed a week ago."
What the so where was she at? Or was that like a scary story or something? Damn, motels ain't it. Always go to a hotel. It ain't worth it. Abandoned hotel in Bali? Look at those prices. Damn. All those reservations? What the hell happened? Why is it got abandoned? In Bali too? Something had to go down that we don't know about. Looks like they left in a hurry. All the snacks are still on the table. Wind powered? Very creepy.
Psychology tricks that I know work.
Hey.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Kayla Posey, who you might recognize from this gif from the show Toddlers and Tiaras, went to her prom this past weekend and took her own life just a few hours later. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were not animated. Most of them were just actors in costumes. This photo shows Ismail Hadi, a homeless man from Yemen known for feeding stray dogs. One morning he was found dead, with the dogs refusing to leave his side. A new device in South Africa called Rapex resembles a tube with barbs inside that is inserted like a tampon to prevent sexual assault. Any man who attempts an unconsentful act will be impaled by its teeth and sent to the ER. This 7-year-old girl is the only person in the world with diagnosed chromosome 6 deletion, meaning that she doesn't feel pain, hunger, or the need to sleep. In 2016, she was hit by a car, dragged nearly 100 feet, and felt absolutely nothing.
How is something like that even possible, man? It's because of our chromosomes? Could you imagine if everybody had that? Nobody would feel pain, the need to sleep. Kind of be like invincible. It's crazy to think about. Do you guys want that?
A YouTuber broke into the Bohemian Grove 2 weeks ago and captured everything in HD. This video is like the first of its kind I've ever seen. He got a ton of footage, but let me show you what he got of the owl.
Mine. And that's the owl statue. Holy fuck. Dude, I'm actually here. This is insane. No way. Bohemian Grove. I made it. Let's pawn up. They do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the owl. A bunch of ferns have grown on it.
Oh, that's like the power station.
Now that is absolutely insane. For those of you that don't know, the Bohemian Grove is speculated to be some kind of conspiracy theory of where the elite go to sacrifice people. They hold their weird rituals there, and that's how they stay in power. The real definition is that it is an invite-only elite club. Only the biggest names in the world can come here. Nobody really knows what's going on in there. They just kind of light an owl and go there. Seeing all this stuff up close and everything is absolutely insane. The fact that the owl is hollow blew my mind. Seeing everything overgrown and abandoned makes me think they moved to another location for their elite invite-only club. It's probably somewhere underground at this point, to be honest, so it's away from the public eye. The person that filmed this on YouTube is Dancer1. Definitely go check out his video. It's half an hour long and it is amazing. He really snuck in there with a kayak and a cast iron skillet paddling.
Damn.
The dude is built different. Let me know what you guys think about the Bohemian Grove. Maybe something weird is going on there. Some kind of sacrifice. Who knows?
See, other YouTubers, I think, go there too. That's actually insane. Bohemian Grove. And like I said, it definitely looked abandoned. They, like I said, going off his prediction, they probably, like I said, moved it to a different place because it got, I guess, too known to the public. They wanted to switch it up. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. Greatly appreciate that support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, so we can grow our community together. I greatly appreciate the support you guys have been showing in these past couple of videos. I know, man, we could grow our community into something special. That's why I do daily uploads for you guys. You guys gonna catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the seekers, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell. Really appreciate that, man. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Seek the truth.
Now this is why you should not marry your cousin.
Okay.
In a village in Turkey, there is a family that walks on all fours. Hidden from the world, discovered by only a handful of scientists, this family have never been able to stand upright. Experts have been baffled by this. The family displays an almost animal-like state. But why? Well, the parents are first cousins and have 18 children. Because of this, the kids were born with an extremely rare disorder that affects their sense of balance. Sadly, the children are treated like social outcasts. They're even bullied and beaten up by the local kids.
It got that bad where it's like they're in like I said, they're in that state, they can only walk on their hands. The other thing they have 18 kids together. What the? Not too much to say on that, seekers.
Here are the top 5 most disrespectful predators in nature, because sometimes it's not about a meal, it's about sending a message.
Let's hear it.
The jaguar. Their whole game plan revolves around factory resetting their prey by tooth punching their skull. Alpha bounce strongest bite of any cat turn a lizard into luncheon. They'll put a caiman out of order. That's a reptile dysfunction. It's the fact they go into the water to turn an alligator understudy into a belt. Forrest the falcon. You want to see why? You want to see it again? Imagine a 240-mile-per-hour avian assault to the back of the nugget. And with weak claws for a bird of prey, falcons ball up their feet before impact. So yeah, they can literally falcon punch your ticket to the cloud cookout. Hyenas.
No particular reason. 2 are golden eagles, because what do you mean you yeet goats off cliffs? Where did that thought process come from?
What the?
You said you want to be like Mike, you want to fly, I got you, first class. Then you go subject him to this NPC at death, gave him time to do nothing but reflect. One needs no explanation, but you're still gonna get it. Orcas are liable to world star slap a stingray, and like falcons, they're not above weaponizing physics. You want to see how fast a seal can join the Air Force? Follow a desaturated psychopath long enough. And let it be known they don't have to be in their element to emancipate you from the population. Some might say too smart for their own good. I disagree. You'll find her doing quite swimmingly.
A Barbie left on the
Crazy.
cliff of this murdered child might be used to solve her cold case. 6-year-old Rosie Tapia was abducted from her bedroom on August 13th in 1995. Her mother had gotten home at 3 a.m. and checked on Rosie in the bedroom that she shared with her siblings. They were all sleeping soundly with the window open, and her mother went to close the window but didn't lock it because the noise would wake the children. Literally just 2 hours later, her mom woke up and got a feeling that she needed to check on her children. Rosie was gone, and her body was later found floating in the nearby canal. Police determined that the screen had been pried off from the outside, and being so low to the ground, an intruder could easily get in. And unfortunately, any DNA on her body was contaminated by the canal water. And after Rosie was buried, the family found a single Barbie doll sitting on her grave. And police are hoping that DNA from the doll can be used to solve the case. Advances in DNA technology give hope that one day Rosie's case can be solved, and over 60 people have been swabbed, but no one's been arrested. There are multiple suspects in this case, including a man that was seen walking with wet jeans on the morning of Rosie's death, and this man in the hat and sunglasses that carried Rosie back to her apartment after she hurt herself on the playground the day before she died. I do a deep dive into possible suspects and theories on the murder of Rosie Tapia on my YouTube channel, Celestial Sylvia.
Things humans...
What do you guys think, man? There's a whole bunch of things about that case, man, that doesn't right. The not locked windows, the two suspects, especially that they said the drawing of that man who brought her back the day before of the events that took place. Was he like watching her? It's things we got to be aware of, man. You never know who's watching.
We're never meant to see.
Okay.
Firstly, we've all seen alligators poke their head out of water, and it's pretty terrifying when they do this. However, this is what their body looks like underneath the water. And this honestly makes alligators seem a lot less scary. This is what water looks like on fire. How is this even possible?
What?
Okay, next, in World War II, the US made inflatable tanks that were used as decoys in the war. This is genius. We were not meant to see this. This man threw boiling water off his balcony, and it instantly turned to snow. And this is a super rare sheepfish. It's a snail that has the head of a sheep and the body of a plant.
Whoa. Learn something new every day. Edit. Call it like I see it.
Do you ever see a picture that just makes your stomach drop? This is a still from an alert that a woman named Alexis Randall got on her phone. It's from a security camera that was set up in her living room, but she's looking at this and she's thinking the same thing you are. She's like, what's wrong with the picture here? Why did the motion detector go off? But then look a bit closer, specifically at the bathroom door.
I don't see nothing.
This man who was staring at the camera from the doorway. She spots this picture and she immediately panics and calls the police, but by the time they get there, this guy is gone. What really freaked her out even more is that when police got there, they found evidence that the bathroom window had been tampered with. Further security footage would show that the man had crawled through the bathroom window the night before and was hiding in the hallway bathroom all through the night, even while she was in the house. And if you guys are loving Creep Time, make sure to go follow on Insta.
Man. How the hell he was in the whole house and she didn't even know? See, it's things like that, man, that makes, if you by yourself, it makes living like that scary, bro. You're in a place by yourself, and like you said, it was pitch black. I ain't seen nothing in the picture, but yeah, if you zoomed in, there's definitely was somebody there. And he was there the whole time. He didn't do nothing. What was his intention, man? What was he even doing in there? That's gonna make me check every dark room from now on, bro. I can't ask somebody in my house and I know it.
Really weird fun facts that you might find pretty damn interesting. Number 1, banging your head against a wall for an hour burns 150 calories.
What?
Number 2, approximately 40,000 Americans are injured by toilets each year.
Whoa.
Number 3, there's a a higher chance of you being elected president of the United States than winning the lottery. Number 4, an average of 100 people choke to death on ballpoint pens each year. Number 5, it is harder to be an employee at Walmart than a student at Harvard, because Walmart has a lower acceptance rate. Number 6, human birth control pills work on gorillas. Number 7, there are 2 million millionaires in the United States. I am not one of them. And number 8, like fingerprints, every tongue print is different from person to person.
Learn some new facts today.
How rare is your body? Let's find out. About 28% of people have a dark limbal ring, which is this dark ring around the outside of your eye, and as you age, you're more likely to have one. Only about 5% of people have these back dimples, and these are more common in females than they are in males. Only about 4% of people have something called a talon's cusp, and then you can see it right here on the back of the tooth. It's almost like a little talon or fang, and they're usually benign, and they're more common in males than females. Only about 33% of people are left eye dominant, and yes, you actually have a dominant eye. And if you want to test which eye you are dominant in, put your hands in a little triangle, put them out and center an object in it, and then close your left eye, and if the object stays centered, you're right eye dominant, and if it's the opposite, then you're left eye dominant.
Try that. But what that symbol said to me was that, like,
yo, what's up? These are fun facts about women that are actually pretty crazy. Part 5. Taller women are more likely to have cancer, whereas shorter women are more likely to have smaller babies. I don't think that's a fair trade, but it's not my doings. In Greece, throwing an apple at a woman was considered a marriage proposal. Now, if anyone did that in America, and they threw an apple at the woman they were trying to propose to, she would definitely walk up to him and calmly go, yo, why'd you throw that apple at me? That ain't cool. Now I'm gonna have to beat you, bruh. 80% of women will ask questions that they already know the answer to, and the reason being is they're not trying to interrogate us, they're just trying to see if we're listening and if we actually care about what they're saying. So, just pay attention, guys. A lot of women lose 2 to 3 hours of sleep every night due to overthinking, anxiety, worry, whatever that may look like. And I'm not saying guys don't do this too, but women are linked to having less serotonin, which helps them go to sleep. So women, if you're still up, get on the Xbox, play some COD, and smack some noobs for us.
Really? What the Well, there's some new facts today, Seekers. That's a damn edit. What the fuck? You can clearly see that. Come on, man.
This person's body is just filled with parasites and parasite eggs all over the place. Those very white spots you see, those are all eggs. Now, how did this person get this way? They got this way by eating undercooked pork for 10 years. And not just undercooked, like undercooked and raw. This can also happen from like undercooked bacon and stuff like that. That's why you really gotta fry it up. The condition this person has is called trichinosis. It comes from the trichinella parasite. And honestly, I'm not even sure if you would survive this. I would assume it would eat your body literally from the inside out. When the infection is extensive and heavy like this, people have trouble regulating their heartbeat, breathing, and even moving. Which makes sense because your body is literally being eaten. All the nerves, everything. However, it is good news. The estimated death rate for this is like 0.2%. But also, I'm not sure how extensive a lot of those cases are. I'm sure they're not as extreme as this case right here. So that's your scary fact of the day. Don't eat undercooked meat. And this isn't just pork. Usually undercooked meats in general can give you this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
That is scary, man. Goes to show you if your food ain't properly cooked, man. That's how I like my stuff crispy well done, because me personally, I don't even like eating undercooked stuff. It just tastes like completely weird to me. But that's another reason right there. I had all those parasites in his body. Like I said, you're literally getting eaten from the inside out because you're not properly cooking your food. Pay attention, man.
Tiny zodiac signs that will be rich in 2024. Rats have a good chance of winning the lottery or gaining from a successful investment. Monkeys will earn large amounts of money and be able to fulfill their biggest desires. Rabbits will join projects that put a lot of money in their pockets from as early as the first few days. Dragons will attract wealth like a magnet. Starting February 10th, money will pour in from everywhere, and dragons will be able to afford whatever they want.
Really?
Snakes will be rewarded by their bosses for their efforts and brilliant ideas. they'll receive a substantial raise or bonus, causing their income to increase greatly.
Yeah, funny thing about
Alright.
The sound of the lion in the MGM logo was actually the roar of a tiger. And it's because tigers were seen to have a louder, more intimidating roar, where lions had more of an aggressive, low-frequency cough. I'm not even kidding. YouTube it. YouTube lion versus tiger roar. A lion will make you defecate bricks, but a tiger will make you your soul. You know the majestic, shrieking call of the bald eagle in the beginning of literally every Western movie? Well, it was never a bald eagle making that sound. That famous cry was actually a red-tailed hawk. It's because the symbol of America just sounds like a seagull with laryngitis. Go ahead, YouTube it. I'm not going anywhere. The bald eagle takes credit for something that was never his in the first place. That is the bird we put on our flag. Some jokes just write themselves. Remember the dolphin sound from SpongeBob? Well, you were lied to, because it was never a dolphin. It was really a sped-up edited call of this Australian bird called a kookaburra, or however you pronounce it. Oh, you didn't hear it? Also, if you're old enough to remember this show, first of all, God bless you. And second, the dolphin call in this show was also a modified kookaburra. Okay, one more. Mufasa's roar was actually made by using a combination of a tiger, an F-16 fighter jet, and a really pissed off grizzly bear. It's called Lion King for a reason.
He was just exposing that damn freaking industry, bro. I thought all that stuff was real. The lion roar is really a tiger roar. The flipper, and that SpongeBob episode, man, all these that they just using different sound effects and just mashing them up together. Everybody needs to know about this, man. They've been lying to us. Should have known. Can't trust anything you see on TV nowadays, especially the times we live in.
What the loudest bird on earth sounds like.
That wasn't edited, by the way. They actually do sound like they could legitimately trigger a veteran. That is a white bellbird, and they're considered the loudest bird in the world, peaking at 125 decibels. Since that number probably doesn't mean anything to you, a jackhammer is 130, and a jet engine is about 140. Now, do you ever wonder what animals are trying to say when they scream like this? Well, don't. I'll tell you. He's horny. The male bellbird's game is literally screaming into the face of a female. And I'm guessing they're into it because it seems to work for them. And you know what else does? That weird hanging thing there? Yeah, that's called a waddle with 2 T's. And scientists believe that's how males flex on females. So the lower it hangs, the more he slangs. The more you know.
Alright.
Well, can you just pass my drink that's on the table, please?
Edit.
Thanks.
We all know that's a damn edit.
The death of the Cranberries' lead singer Dolores O'Riordan still doesn't sit well with me. Dolores was the lead singer for the band The Cranberries, an Irish rock band. You might know the band from some of their biggest hits like Zombie or Dreams. The Cranberries were a massively successful band, and Dolores was actually one of the richest women in all of Ireland, with a reported net worth of over $66 million.
Damn,
in January of 2018, Dolores traveled from New York City, where she lived at the time, to London. She was traveling there to work with the producer on her side project and discuss a new Cranberries album. When she arrived, she checked in at this Hilton hotel in London, and this is eventually where she would die later that night. At around 2 a.m. on January 15th, 2018, Dolores placed a phone call to her mother from inside her hotel room. Later that morning, she was found unresponsive in her bathroom and was pronounced dead at 9:16 a.m. The day after her death, a tabloid newspaper released an article that claimed that they had found fentanyl in her room. This article also falsely stated that London authorities suspected that she took her own life and that this overdose was on purpose. In reality, there was no fentanyl in her bathroom, but the circumstances surrounding her death are even stranger. It took months for her official cause of death to be released, but this is officially what happened. Apparently, her death was ruled an accidental drowning in her bathtub, following sedation by alcohol intoxication. So basically, they said that she got so drunk that she fell asleep in her bathtub and drowned. Toxicology tests done post-mortem showed that Dolores had some levels of pharmaceutical drugs in her system at the time of her death, but these were drugs that she was prescribed, and there was nothing out of the ordinary. She did have a very high blood alcohol level, though. According to authorities, there's no foul play suspected, and they don't even suspect that she tried to end her own life. This was just a tragic accident.
If you're enjoying this series about bizarre celebrity deaths, be sure to give me a follow and let me know who you'd like me to cover next.
So you may have seen this image
Crazy.
floating around the internet today. Because this image, which was recently released, was taken before Emma Brown, featured below, took a gun and turned it on her father and then herself.
What the
The photo is from last year in September, and the plan was part of a murder plot that her and another 12-year-old girl came up with. It was later discovered that Emma's plan was to kill her family and her pets and then run away with a friend. And after she shot her father in the abdomen, she was running towards the driveway when it's believed that she panicked and turned the gun on herself. This all happened in Texas, and now authorities believe that she was headed towards the driveway so she could grab her car, drive about 230 miles to her friend, and then the both of them were going to drive to Georgia together. It's also now believed that Emma didn't come up with this plan herself. It was actually planned by the friend, but they're not releasing the friend's name, and it's not clear how Emma and her met. It's a little implied that cops are blaming social media for this. They issued a statement that basically said, now is a good time to make sure you know who your kids' friends are. Especially if they're meeting people off the internet, because you don't ever really know what they're talking about.
Facts.
So I'm obsessed with the dark side of Disney. And did you know there's a horrible period of accidents at Disneyland that doesn't really get talked about a lot? It's been referred to as the Disney Dark Ages. It was from 1997 to 2003 when this guy, Paul Pressler, was the president of Disneyland. Paul basically decided they were no longer going to do scheduled maintenance on rides. They were only going to fix rides when they were broken. Did it save money? Sure. But this resulted in some of the worst accidents the park had ever seen. One of the worst being that of Brandon Zucker. In 2001, Brandon Zucker was on the Roger Rabbit ride, which was already having maintenance issues. An employee put Brandon on the wrong side of the car, and when he put the lap band down, it didn't close all the way. So at one point in the ride, Brandon tumbled out of his seat and was hit by an oncoming car. The car pinned him and dragged him down the track before anyone could do anything. Also, at the time, Disney employees were not allowed to call 911. They had to call park emergency services, who then called 911. So it took a while for anyone to come get Brandon. He did survive the accident, but he had brain damage so bad he was nonverbal and lost a lot of motor skills for the rest of his life. And eventually he passed away at 13 years old.
Watching you sit there.
To hear, man, Disney back in, that's actually insane that they couldn't even call the cops. They had to call the people there, and then there was another call to the cops had to be made. Man, the things people do, bro, just to save some extra money, like it's not worth it at the end of the day, because you're affecting people. That like is one of the most dumbest ideas I've heard. We're gonna wait until the ride is actually broken and then decide to fix it. You try to stop a problem before it even gets to that mark. You don't wait till the problem actually happens, then fix it. What type of logic, backward logic is that?
Smile, laugh, shake your head like this was no big deal. I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
Judge ain't playing no games.
Your why will never be better than his life. Your why will never trump my son's death. You get to live. You get to wake up every day. Your actions have led you to a prison cell.
I just want to tell
He's
you,
smiling.
I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family. That's all you got to say.
He gave him like. How can people smile when they do something like that, man? It's just like it's unhuman to me, man. That it. It's on no freaking portal. See it from right there.
Did you know Jack the Ripper's identity might have been revealed? The Ripper terrorized
Come again?
Whitechapel, a district in London, England, in 1888, responsible for the deaths of 5 women. Sarah Bax Horton, a relative of one of the original police investigators, alleges that Jack was a cigar maker by the name of Chaim Hyams. Horton's claim is based on Hyams' medical records, as he suffered from a peculiar gait as a consequence of his alcoholism and epilepsy. This peculiar style of movement, a declining mental condition, and violent criminal history paint a potential solution to the long unsolved mystery. Additional evidence includes that Hyams also lived in Whitechapel, and as a cigar maker would have had many knives at his disposal, which some have theorized was the primary weapon of Jack the Ripper.
Coincidence or mystery solved? Let us know in the comments.
This is why
What do
you
you
have
guys
to be
think?
careful who you let into your Halloween parties. So this is a photo of who police believed was a guest at a Halloween party in Rochester, New York in the 1940s. The party was being thrown by Jack and Amelia Layton, and they actually noticed that this guest was outside of the party watching the guests through a window.
Weird.
The report claims that Amelia believed the guest was her friend Jan, who tended to go above and beyond for Halloween, creating very scary costumes. So she let this person in believing it was her friend Jan. But then 20 minutes later, Jan shows up, and that guest could not be found anywhere. So Amelia starts running around the party asking everyone if they knew who that guest was, and no one had recognized that person. So she goes into her daughter's room, who was playing while the party was happening. And the police report states that the only thing there left of Amelia's daughter was a bloody shoe. 4 other reports of this guest being at parties that night were called into police, and all of them resulted in missing children's cases. The identity of this person has never been found, and none of the kids have been found either.
Like she said, gotta be careful who you invite to these parties, man. Especially when you're having a big one, you can't kind of monitor how many people are in your house or in your area. Better have like try to have extra people watching, because you never know, man. You just had that one widow just tries to slip through, ain't trying to have a good time. They have different intentions. And like she said, she was at 4 other parties, or that person. And look what that resulted into. Always be where you're surrounded, man. That's when I'm out. I don't wear my headphones like when I'm out walking and stuff like that. Only sometimes, because I like to be aware. I need to know what's going on around me at all times.
So I always thought no one ever dies at Disney. Like, even if something horrible happens, they get the person off the park so they can always say that no one's ever died there. But then I found out not only is that not true, but a law firm has compiled all of the incidents. I'm going to share a few of them with you, but if you're interested in stories like this, make sure you follow the podcast, because tonight's episode's just going to be these stories.
Okay.
So 2 of the park's worst accidents have both happened on the Matterhorn ride. One of them being a woman named Dolly, who in 1984 fell off of one of the back of the sleds onto the rails. At the time, these gondolas used to go into the rides, and so there was actually a family that watched her fall off onto the track. And so the family also saw as there was another car racing towards Dolly. The dad actually screamed at his daughters to cover their eyes, which was for the best, because Dolly got hit hard. She got hit so hard that when EMTs arrived on the scene and were going up into the ride, there were park attendants coming down telling them not to look. And so finally, when someone was looking at the car she was in, they noticed that her seatbelt was unbuckled. But it's never been confirmed if she unbuckled her seatbelt herself, or if an attendant didn't check her seatbelt well enough and it was never buckled in the first place.
There's a horrific murder case that's happening right now out of Arizona that's still unsolved. Let's talk about what happened to Mercedes Vega. On April 16th of this year, Mercedes was abducted from the parking garage of her Tempe, Arizona apartment and brutally killed.
Damn.
That night, security footage shows her walking into her apartment's parking garage a little after 9 p.m. She was on her way to meet her friends and have a fun night at Dave & Buster's, but in this footage, she had no idea what was about to happen to her. Sometime before making it to her car, she was attacked and taken by at least 2 people, and the details that follow are still a mystery. A little after 1 a.m. the next morning, the Department of Public Safety was called in to investigate a car that was on fire along the side of Interstate 10 in Tonopah. Upon arriving to the scene, they found Mercedes' burned body in the back seat, and she was deceased. In the last few hours of her life, she was tortured, and according to the medical examiner, she had been shot in the arm, had blunt force trauma to her head, and had traces of bleach in her throat. But all of this did not kill her. She ultimately died from smoke inhalation while being burned alive in that car. Investigators also found gloves and bleach in the front seat and lighter fluid in the back, but there are still a ton of questions that remain in this case, and nothing about this makes any sense. The car that Mercedes was found in was not her car. Her car, which was a 2019 Dodge Charger, was found abandoned near Mill Avenue in Tempe. She was not burned in her own vehicle, and so far, investigators still don't know who the car she was found in belongs to. One of the big questions in this case is, how did her car get from her apartment to where it was found? And who drove the other car to Tonopah? Mercedes' parents believe that this was a targeted attack and that death wasn't the ultimate goal, but that Mercedes fought back, which resulted in her death. Her parents mentioned that she danced at a club 2 nights a week, and many question if her death could possibly be connected back to someone she met while at work. It's now been 7 months, and Mercedes' murder is still unsolved. Whoever committed this vicious attack is still out there. Right now, there is a silent witness award of up to $2,000 for information leading to an arrest. But if you'd like to donate to up that reward or to report a tip, please contact the number on the screen. For more information on this case and to show your support, please follow this account that was created for Mercedes that's run by her family. She and her family deserve justice.
How did it go that long without being unsolved? These unsolved cases. Just mind-blowing. Truly. She had to go through, man. Man. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, tell me down below, guys, if you guys like my new reacting style. Try to save my thoughts until after the video plays. I'm pausing way less. I know you guys noticed that. Trying to upgrade these thumbnails for you guys, man. I'm really trying to put my all into this, man. I know we can just grow this channel and grow our community together, so I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys to follow me on my social medias down below. Guys, been catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel. You guys even know what we do here, man, but if you're brand new here, what we do is we break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to IG reels to TikTok videos, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. We seeking the truth just like you. That's why you found us, man. I just want to thank the Seekers, man, who's been tapping in with the channel, who's been subbing up. Really appreciate that, man. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's check it out.
Boy claimed he remembered his past life until his parents discovered he wasn't lying. A Syrian boy named Arius was born with a particular red birthmark on his face. As soon as he could speak, he explained to his parents that he had already lived another life as a different man, claiming he was actually murdered with an axe by his own neighbor. Turns out, a man had actually gone missing in their village years earlier, and the neighbor was the prime suspect. So Arius and his parents went to the neighbor's house to find out the truth. When the neighbor opened the door, he turned white as a ghost, claiming he was innocent. But Arius demanded the neighbor come with him, because he knew where his body was actually buried. Arius led them miles from the village to a specific spot under a tree, and they began digging. They found a skull that was cracked exactly where Arius' birthmark was. Everyone was shocked, and the neighbor was later arrested.
Blood-curdling facts.
Reincarnation, man? Seekers, bro. That, to me, man, seems like a freaking... The evidence freaking pointed to that, man. Freaking reincarnation, man. Like, the little boy, bro, had that freaking birthmark over his eyes, man. He just knew what the neighbor did, bro. And to say that he led them to the body, bro. Like, there's no way he could have known that, man. He just said, like, he felt something in his spirit, bro, and it took him there. The freaking neighbor got darkest secret was revealed, bro. Reincarnation, Seekers? You guys believe in that? Interesting.
That you wish you never knew. A mother named Heather Pingle died after saving her 4-year-old son from a pit bull. During the fight, she was able to wrap a cord around the dog and strangle it, but not before losing both of her arms and a significant amount of blood. In 1992, a 79-year-old woman purchased a McDonald's coffee, but accidentally spilled it on her lap and suffered 3rd-degree burns. She ended up suing the company, arguing the temperature was far too high, and ended up winning $3 million. This video shows the last living polio survivor from the 1950s, Paul Alexander. He still uses his iron lung all day, every day. There are spiders that capture bats and large birds and eat their living bodies. Llama spit is actually projectile vomit. Being the second most fragile organ in your body, a single punch can completely rupture your liver. A study conducted over several years found that the TSA failed to catch 95% of guns, drugs, and other illegal paraphernalia going through airports.
This is the scary...
What the hell? That last line, Seekers, bro. What it puts things in perspective. That's like their main job. That's their duty, bro. And the head that they failed to capture like 95% of that, bro. You wonder why, man. How come that hasn't been on like the mainstream news or something like that? Seekers, man. Like I said, man, we watch these videos, bro. We seeking the truth, man. And it just gets more evident, man, with each and every video we review, bro. You would think that would be like a freaking way bigger case, man. The main news and stuff would hear about that, but no. That's why you gotta tap in with us, man. You find the truth right here.
Truth about iPhones. iPhones actually listen to everything that you say, and it's pretty creepy. This is why if you're ever talking about something with your friends, then suddenly whatever you were talking about comes up on your timeline hours later, well, that's because your iPhone is listening to you. Next, your iPhone tracks you everywhere you go. This is how the iPhone knows how long it takes to get to places from where you are. If you want proof, go to your settings and then hit privacy, then click location services at the top, and it will most likely say on. It's pretty creepy that they can hear and track everything we do, and I mean everything, because who doesn't have their phone on them nowadays?
This 12-year-old made a murder.
That iPhone fact, bro. It's pretty creepy, man. And I've had noticed it has been like some coincidence, man, when we talk about something, bro, and you're just like scrolling through, man, you're searching up something on your phone and it just pops up. I've always wondered about that secrets, and I'm guessing now we finally got the answer, bro. And that they're tracking us as well, bro. Shoot, I'm gonna have to freaking turn off my freaking tracking, man, because you know I got an iPhone as well, so, bro, this information we're learning, bro. It's crazy, man, that they can just get away with that, bro. They tracking us, man?
Murder pact with someone she met online. This is 12-year-old Emma Brown, and she had plotted to kill her entire family and pets. She made this murder pact with another 12-year-old girl from Lufkin, Texas. The plan was that after the killings, Emma was going to drive to pick up the other 12-year-old, and they were going to drive to Georgia together. On September 20th of 2022, Emma had shot her father in the abdomen at their home in Poolville, Texas, which is about 30 miles from Fort Worth. Emma was about to take the family car when she ended up shooting herself in the head, and she died in the hospital 2 days later. Emma's father was released from the hospital, and he has made a full recovery. The district attorney office has confirmed that the second girl, who has not been identified, has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
Actually, Mort isn't a bush baby. That's a bush baby, but since you mentioned it, here's what Madagascar would look like if all the lemurs were scientifically accurate. Mort is a mouse lemur and the smallest of them all, and at 1.1 ounces, most of them ain't even in the weight class of a pencil. Not to mention they have the smallest brain of any primate, weighing about a paperclip. Yes, a paperclip. I defy the metric system, and that's on America. Maurice is an eye. As you can see, they took creative liberties with him, mostly because if they didn't, he'd be flipping off the entire cast for the whole runtime. Eyes use that middle finger to scoop out grubs and secure extra protein. It also makes it one of the few animals on the planet able to give itself a COVID test. Also, according to urban legend, if an eye flipped you off, you'd be at God's door the next business day like an afterlife Amazon package. Yeah, his design was for the best. King Julian is a ringtail. Heavy quotes on the king, because ringtails are female dominated, where lady lemurs will flex on males any chance they get. As in, they'll dominate them, straight up snatch food from males, just for the feminism of it all. So that's either a false king or a drag queen. Also, they smell so offensive, they deadass weaponize it. And yeah, that's a pun, because that's exactly what they smell like. They'll really throw a stink bomb if they feel another lemur's in their business. The more you know. Also, Fusa are real.
What? Those lemur facts, man, based on the Madagascar show? Crazy, man. I used to watch the show when I was a kid.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. The Mayans made such horrible tasting alcohol that it was extremely common for people to just inject it into their butt so they didn't have to drink it. And guys, let me tell you, butt chugging gets you drunk fast. I mean, just look how happy this guy is. In 17th century Europe, it was extremely common for nannies to give young boys a handy to help them fall asleep at bedtime. Mary Poppins could have been a totally different movie. Ibrahim the Mad of the Ottoman Empire was obsessed with the genitals of a particular cow. So much so that he had a cast made of them in gold that he traveled with in hopes of finding a woman that matched. Eventually, though, he did find his Cinderella, which was a 350-pound woman that he nicknamed Sugar Cube. Confessional booths were built by the church not for privacy, but to prevent priests from trying to have sex with the women who confessed their sins. In the Elizabethan era, the word nothing was slang for vagina, coming from the idea that women had no thing between their legs. Therefore, Shakespeare's play Much Ado About Nothing is actually very much ado about fucking.
When we talk about people that got
those facts, man, especially about the freaking, they said that man, these are what they did to the freaking boys. Like, that goes to show you about how the freaking world has evolved and changed since then. It's freaking dark and dirty place back then, Seekers. These facts, man, be opening up my mind. Hopefully they're doing the same thing with you guys, Seekers.
Got done the absolute dirtiest in history, we gotta talk about Lindy Chamberlain Creighton. You might not know the name, but you definitely know these 4 words. Dingo ate my baby. Now, because let's actually talk about how messed up this was. So this family goes to Ayers Rock with their 9-week-old Azaria. Then Azaria disappeared with parents Lindy and Michael obviously reporting it, with Lindy saying that a dingo had dragged her out of the tent. That's a dingo, by the way. Officials searched for her, and the only trace of her they could find was a bloody jumpsuit, which would make sense because, you know, dingo, which the coroner originally agreed with. But here's where the story of a baby getting buried by dogs somehow gets darker. A different coroner was involved, and they said that someone had purposely cut up the jumpsuit after they, you know, life-retired Azaria, which I thought they settled because, you know, dingo. Courts ended up finding Lindy guilty in the very first degree of Casey Anthonying her own daughter and then trying to stage it as a dingo attack. And you know the courts were on one because one of the pieces of evidence was blood in her car that ended up not even being blood. Trial basically got the TMZ treatment, and public opinion had convicted her before she even got to court. They even tried saying she was guilty because she didn't grieve enough. Like you don't look sad enough, so you definitely murked your baby, right? So Lindy got life in prison and Michael was charged as an accessory. Even had to give birth in prison. Except 4 years later, some dude fell to his finale, and while looking for him, they found Azaria's missing jacket right by a den of, I don't even need to say it. Really long story short, but Lindy ended up being exonerated, but Dingo Ate My Baby would get memed to death. So imagine your baby gets turned into a chew toy, people blame you for it, they say you're guilty because you're not sad enough. Whole time Dingo really did eat your baby, just for it all to end up being a punchline. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a peaceful person, but I'd have to turn Joker. Like, ain't no way, I'm getting my restitution. Dingo got the O.J. Simpson stimulus package. Bro got off scot-free.
These are the most...
That's an insane story, man. Like, what the hell, bro? And the way this story was turning out, bro, it just goes to show you, man, how easy, man, I guess people could be freaking manipulated, bro. The freaking dingo at the end really did do it. And they had to take somebody falling, I guess, to their freaking demise in order for the truth to get out, man. Like you said, bro, I would turn to the Joker, man. He did all that freaking... See, the public turned against him, man, because they said that she wasn't grieved enough and to find out she was innocent, bro. And, like, that's how sometimes, bro, you have to wait until the trial till all the evidence come out, because you just can't convict somebody, say they're guilty because of over public opinion, because you never know what can happen, Seekers. Ooh.
Disturbing
Crazy
torture
case.
devices I saw at the Torture Museum in Amsterdam. This device is called the Iron Maiden of Nuremberg, a torture and execution machine hidden in the dungeons of medieval castles. And when I first saw it, I was stunned. Not only because of how huge it is, I'm 5'7", so you can kind of compare for size here, but with the face at the top, it just looks so eerie. And this was all before I found out how it was actually used to torture people. So the interior of this solid iron machine is covered in spikes that aren't designed to instantly kill the person trapped inside, but to prolong pain as much as possible by piercing through non-fatal areas like the eyes and down there. Because of course, why wouldn't it? And just imagine being kept in the Iron Maiden for days like that, completely isolated in the dark and unable to move. There were so many messed up torture devices I saw, so make sure to follow as I explain all their backstories.
The Alphabet Murders are a series of unsolved child murders that happened from 1971 to 1973 in New York. And this case is really bizarre. So each of the victims of the Alphabet Murders' last names and first names started with the same letters. And they were all girls aged 10 or 11. Each girl was SA'd before they were killed and then was murdered by either manual or ligature strangulation. So the first victim was Carmen Colon. Witnesses on the night that she died saw her running from a car on the interstate. She was frantically waving her arms and had nothing on from the waist down. She was later found in a gully. And to this day, nobody knows who killed her. After this happened, though, these billboards were erected all over Rochester, New York, basically begging for anybody to come forward with information about what had happened. But nobody ever came forward. Then, about 2 years later, Wanda Walkowicz, an 11-year-old, disappeared and was murdered in the same way, followed by the murder of Michelle Mainza 7 months later, and once again she was killed in the exact same manner. There's only been really one composite sketch made of the suspected criminal behind these murders, and this is it. He was a white Caucasian male between the ages of 25 and 35 with dark hair, approximately 6 foot tall, and he was seen with one of the victims before she went missing and was found murdered. This rabbit hole goes really deep, and there are even people that are suspected to be the Alphabet murderer, and even other potential victims. So if you want me to talk more about this case, let me know and I'll make a part 2.
This woman killed her roommate over a phone charger. 26-year-old Monica Anderson was living with Lan Lee. Lan was 20 and the two women had been introduced through mutual friends. They'd been roommates in Sacramento for around 6 months. Now Lan had a troubled upbringing and had struggled with addiction to substances. She'd actually been living in a group home for young women but wasn't able to stay once she turned a certain age. She met Monica just after turning 18. On the 13th of March 2010, the pair were drinking alcohol and taking substances. At around 2:30 a.m. they began arguing over a phone charger. Monica, sensing that things were escalating to a dangerous level, tried to run away. Terrifyingly, Lan chased her out of the apartment with a butcher's knife. Lan launched into a vicious attack, stabbing her 91 times. She then tried to stab herself and a friend stopped her. Police raced to the scene and arrested Lan. At the trial, prosecutors stated that Lan murdered Monica over pettiness and ridiculousness. They also played the jurors a video of Lan being questioned by police. In the video, Lan admits that she was simply angry at Monica for not giving her a phone charger. Interestingly, it wasn't the first time that things had got violent between the pair of them. Months prior, Monica actually told her parents that Lan had attacked her and given her a black eye. Lan was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years to life.
This disturbing?
She really changed her life forever, man. Over a phone charger, bro. Let me say that again. She changed her life forever over a phone charger. Like, what be going through people's minds, man, when they get into these situations? Like, it's never that serious. Somebody lost their life over a freaking phone charger, bro. But to hear that they said she had history like that before, she said she gave her a black eye, man. That's where you gotta notice these patterns, bro, in a person. Because if they do it once, man, even if it's like a small way, you never know, man. They might have it in them to do something even worse, seekers. And the worst outcome happened, bro, in that case. That has to be one of the most ridiculous cases I ever heard, bro. Over a phone charger, somebody lost their life. This world is crazy, seekers.
The story that I'm about to explain might make you never use Tinder ever again. In November 2017, the woman you see right here, whose name is Cindy Loof, was swiping aimlessly on Tinder until she matched with a woman named Audrey. The two agreed to meet on their first date on the night of November 14th. Everything was perfect, and Sydney even took this picture before she went on the date, saying, "Ready for my date." Okay. On their date, they shared life stories and a bunch of laughs. But things took a turn for the worse at the second date when Audrey asked Sydney to go into her apartment. And as a result, Sydney never returned home. Sydney's family knew something was wrong when she didn't text them for 4 days and her pet cat wasn't fed. So as a result of all this happening, they immediately called the police. Unfortunately, a couple days later, Cindy Loof's body was found. Her body was brought to the morgue in 6 different garbage bags because she had been cut into 14 pieces while a part of her upper left arm was never found. After police investigation, the police found it very odd that 51-year-old Aubrey Trail and 25-year-old Bailey Boswell posted videos on Facebook claiming their innocence when the police were never even questioning them. It turns out that this couple is using the pseudonym Audrey on Tinder to lure Sydney into their apartment and recruit her into a cult. And the only reason Aubrey Trail dismembered Sydney's body and removed her organs was because he panicked after she accidentally passed out during a sexual fantasy. Aubrey Trail was convicted of first-degree murder and Bailey Boswell was facing first-degree murder. And this picture right here is the last known image of Cindy Loof before she was brutally murdered by her Tinder date. Or in this case, she thought it was her Tinder date. All in all, this case is extremely disturbing, and rest in peace to Cindy Loof. It also goes to show that you have to be careful when you go on dates with strangers. You never truly know who somebody really is in this disturbing world.
Nothing but facts. What you said, bro. As I said, man, people using these freaking data apps or stuff, man, like I said, gotta be careful, man. You do have easy access to people, but you never know their freaking intentions, bro. Like, you was trying to bring her into a freaking cult and panic and just murder her after she passed out. After the second day as well, man. That's what I said, like, if you gotta meet up, bro, you got to do something in a public place, or I don't recommend going to apartments and stuff, because you never know what can happen, man, because that's you're in their territory, bro. And that's not a safe place, man. Especially if you're not familiar with them. I couldn't do that. You gotta meet someone public, because that you just don't want nothing bad to happen, seekers. Tell me if you guys have had any weird or bad Tinder dates. What the hell is that?
Good morning. A judge has ruled that Donald Trump can be prosecuted for his alleged crimes committed on January 6th. Trump was trying to prove that the president has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for anything he does while he's in office, and a judge has now said, of course, that's not true. No matter what office you hold or who you are, you'll be held accountable for any potential criminal activity. You're at least entitled to a trial to prove your innocence.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
Now he's going to appeal this to the Supreme Court, but we should have a decision pretty soon that clarifies that the president is not immune from criminal prosecution if he commits crimes while in office. But speaking of things that elderly men from New York didn't know were illegal, you can't paint squirrels red and release them into the wild. A man in New York was just recently caught red-handed trapping squirrels in his yard, spray painting them red, and then releasing them at a park nearby. He says he did this because he wanted to see which squirrels were making it back into his yard. He has been arrested and charged with animal cruelty, illegal trapping, illegal releasing. But apparently trapping and painting squirrels is a bigger problem than we would have ever thought, because a lot of people on the radio were calling in this morning to say they do it or men in their family have done it. I'm going to be driving to Penn State for the next couple hours, so please leave your thoughts on the Trump verdict and on the red squirrels. I'd love to read them when I get there.
A 16-year-old
Those freaking cases, man, especially I guess freaking a president, man, trying to be in office, trying to claim immunity from his crimes, like, goes to show you, man, the lengths people will go to. I guess even the freaking president, man, or former president, bro, to order not to face the actions, bro. It's like, just because you have, I guess, a certain position of power, some people just think that they're immune from any actions, bro, that they do. But that's not true, bro. Everybody has to face the actions that they did, man. There's always gonna be consequences, bro. That freaking squirrel story, like, what the hell? I didn't even know who painting squirrels. Obviously, I would know who would even want to do that, bro. That is, I guess, a case of animal cruelty. Because like, you spray paint them red, that could freaking cause, I guess, like some, I guess, major accidents or something, man.
Year-old has been killed after an argument over McDonald's sweet and sour sauce. On the 27th of August, police responded to a call of a 16-year-old girl being treated in hospital for stab wounds. The teenager, Naima Ligon from Maryland, then sadly passed away from her injuries. It's believed that the fatal stabbing took place outside of a McDonald's in Washington, D.C. A detective announced that the stabbing occurred after a dispute over sweet and sour sauce between 3 girls outside of the restaurant. It's believed that they were all part of a group that had been to a party previously. Naima and another girl had apparently been assaulting the other teenager first, and she didn't appear to fight back. However, when the pair tried to get into a vehicle, it's believed that the other girl came at Naima with a knife. The girl was charged with second-degree murder, and they have found the murder weapon.
Morbid facts.
That has to be the second most ridiculous freaking case I've heard today, bro. Over sweet and sour sauce, man. We got a charger and over sweet and sour sauce, man. What is with people, man, doing these freaking horrific acts just over basic objects, man? Like, what goes through their freaking head when they do this, Seekers? I truly need an answer, man, because I don't have one. Over some sweet and sour sauce, she lost her life, bro. It's never that serious. Never.
127. The well-endowed man behind this iconic image is none other than Wardy Joubert III. He was a football coach and preacher who sadly died in 2016 at the age of 45 from a heart attack. Legendary Spanish artist Pablo Picasso used to carry around a revolver that was loaded with blanks. And when people asked about the meaning of his paintings, he would pretend to shoot them in the face. In 1961, son of U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller went missing during an expedition in Papua New Guinea. Although he was legally declared dead in 1964, some say this was him as part of a cannibalistic tribe in 1969. In 1967, Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov became the first person to die in space. His craft had over 200 known flaws, but his attempts to delay the launch were rejected. Certain that he would die, Vladimir specifically asked the authorities to give him an open casket funeral after the mission.
Those facts, man. Blowing our reality wide open. So that's about the fact about this vice president, I guess, son, though.
This is the class photo, one of the most disturbing and shocking photos of all time explained. Okay, so at first glance, this photo looks like an ordinary American high school class photo, right? That is true until you realize that the two boys in the upper left-hand corner shooting imaginary guns at the camera is none other than Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. A few weeks after this photo was taken at Columbine High School in 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold put an evil plan that they'd been working on for more than a year into action. The two seniors placed 2 bombs in the cafeteria as well as in their cars, which were parked in the school's lot. These bombs failed to detonate, but the 2 boys proceeded to shoot and kill 12 students and 1 teacher. They shot and injured a further 21 people, while 3 others were injured trying to escape the massacre. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold then committed suicide in the school library. It was revealed afterwards that the shooters hoped that their planned massacre would claim more lives than the Oklahoma City bombing, which took the lives of 168 people. This is one of the most famous and one of the worst school shootings of all time, and it's crazy that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold foreshadowed what they were doing in this class photo. Now when I look at this photo again, all I see is a bunch of seniors in high school ready to graduate. But Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold are ready to take as many lives as humanly possible, waiting to follow through with a plan that they've been working on for over a year.
I tapped him.
It's freaking crazy about the foreshadowing, man. I feel like with a picture, somebody can truly show, bro. It goes to show you, man, the power of a picture, bro, man. That's why when some people, when they be putting up these signs and stuff in pictures and these demonic signs and crap and stuff like that, people are like be playing off as a joke, but no, you never know, man, somebody's intentions. It could be real, but you just can't just wipe it away just because, oh no, it's just a picture. They were just making it sound like, no. That's why people take this stuff seriously, seekers. Always gotta pay attention, man, to the details.
Viciously, and I didn't stop. The only time I paused was to go to the kitchen and retrieve a butcher knife because I was going to kill him. My son stepped in front of me and saved his life. He just looked at me and said, "Sir." He shook his head. No. I just put the knife down. I wouldn't traumatize him any more than he already was.
Hold on, y'all. So I just seen a trailer of this woman right here. I don't know if you know who this woman is, but she is the monster who took Selena from us. Selena, the singer. Now they saying that she could be released as early as 2025, which is just next year. So I'm like, hold on, they gonna let her out after she unalived one of the best up and coming basically musicians in the 90s? Girl, I'm pissed. And then she's saying she's trying to tell her side of the story. Girl, what do you mean?
What side?
What do you mean? What? There's no explaining, there's no telling, girl. We know enough. We know you were jealous of Selena and you cold-bloodedly premeditated and took the life of Selena knowing she was more successful than you. And trying to take her money too. I can't believe this woman did what she did, y'all. Man, I can't believe they let her out in 2025. Because, girl, she ain't gonna like it out here. She ain't gonna like it out here.
I can't believe it, bro. I heard some rumors and stuff, but I didn't know if that was true or not, man. They really gonna let Selena's killer out, bro? And then she's saying she's trying to come out with the story, her side of what happened, man. It's just like, bro, nobody, I guess, wants to hear her side, but we all know what happened, bro. I remember when I had to watch the freaking movie about her, and that's my first time seeing Selena, bro. And it was just freaking tragic, bro. It's people, man, like I said, the things they do, bro, when people have money and success, man, people get jealous and they just turn into a different person. They just try to end it all, man, because they can't have what you have. It's crazy, seekers. Edit.
Hey guys, this is an update on a story I did not long ago regarding a missing girl from Washington. 14-year-old girl from Washington named Ella Jones has been found after she was missing for nearly a month. She was found hundreds of miles away from her home in Michigan today on February 1st, Thursday. Investigators were able to track the suspect down that she was with, who was also an SEX offender, by tracking rideshare services. They were able to check local rideshare history after they found out Ella might have left her home with a rideshare vehicle on January 5th, which is the night she disappeared. It was stated Mount Vernon, which is where she's from, has limited rideshare services, so that's how they were able to easily track down which vehicle she took. They were able to identify the suspect, which was 30-year-old Keith Freakson. That is because he ordered the rideshare vehicle for Ella, and his address was in South Haven, Michigan. Police said there's enough probable cause to charge him with second-degree kidnapping in Washington because he transported Ella across state lines. He also faces charges of first-degree sexual assault, failure to register as an SEX offender, and contributing to the delinquency of children, and that's in Michigan, so he faces charges in 2 different states. Reportedly, her mother knew that she had been communicating with an older man on social media before her disappearance, and some of her friends confirmed she talked about that. Washington detectives contacted the local sheriff's office where Keith is from in Michigan, and they went to his property and took him into custody. It was stated the girl's parents were elated with this news, and I can imagine because so many stories of abductions and kidnappings do not go this way. Police are continuing to investigate this case.
A group of psychologists.
Well, you always gotta be aware, I guess, of who you talking to on social medias, man. Especially if kids involved, bro. They just can be easily freaking manipulated and know what happened. Thankfully, nothing happened to her, but they got her back, but caught it just in time. But not everybody's that lucky, seekers. Not everybody's that lucky, man.
Just studied 400 different movies to find the most realistic psychopath. And the winner was Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. They said that he appears to be effectively invulnerable to any form of humanity or emotion. Popular characters Hannibal Lecter and Patrick Bateman didn't even make the top 25. The actor who played Danny in The Shining didn't know it was a horror movie until after he was done with filming. He was led to believe that he was just filming a drama movie about a family that lives in a hotel. This was the original design for Voldemort, which many find far more terrifying than what they went with. The woman who voiced the demon Pazuzu in The Exorcist had a son who killed his entire family. He then proceeded to shoot himself in both temples simultaneously, and he did all of this while wearing a Freddy Krueger mask. While filming Poltergeist, the clown doll nearly killed Robbie Freeling when an animatronic error caused its arm to tighten around his neck. When the actor started gesturing that he couldn't breathe, Steven Spielberg thought he was just improv acting.
Dirty diapers, lots of dirty diapers. Baby bottles with maggots in them. It was bad. It was really dark. Very hot.
A lot of wax built up in her ears so that we couldn't see her eardrums. She had a hard time keeping her body upright. She had to be supported.
Erica Murray is a 31-year-old woman who lived in a quaint suburban area in a Cape Cod-style home, just 4 blocks away from the local police station. Erica's house seemed like every other house on the street, but what went on behind closed doors was so horrifying that it would chill the bones of even the most hardened detectives. Let's take a look at the case of the mom who left 2 of her babies and dog to
He's been at our house all day, and I just left to go to Bellingham, and he called me and said, I can't get the babies off the school, there's kids here, there's like little babies here. They've been here all day, there's no one here. Okay, and there's no electricity, there's dirty diapers.
Erica Murray was born in Northbridge, Massachusetts, to middle-class parents Kevin and Sharon Murray. She was a happy-go-lucky kid who was loved by her parents and properly provided for. In the summers, Erica would play baseball with her 2 older brothers and soak the heat away in a neighbor's pool. Her parents would even take them to the beach when it got too hot, and they would also enjoy barbecues in the backyard. When Erica was a teenager, she began to care about her looks, always wanting to have her hair done and spent time caring for her nails. All this cost money, so Erica went to work at the local McDonald's to get a little extra money for herself. There, Erica met Raymond Rivera. Raymond was 7 years older than Erica, but something about him pulled Erica in. Almost as soon as they started dating, something began.
The nurse placed the sick baby next to her twin, too.
Man, I gotta find part 2 to these stories, bro. It's freaking crazy, man. They had to find us. She just left her 2 babies and a dog by themselves, bro. Who went through her freaking mind doing that? People nowadays, bro, like I said, seekers, bro, they're doing the most unthinkable things, man, that I never think would happen. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys stay with me to the end, you're a true seeker, man, seeking the truth. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, man. Also hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload. You guys gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, seekers.